All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the New York Knicks are coming off of yet another disappointing NBA season as they missed the playoffs for the eighth time in the last 9 years. The Knicks came into this offseason expected to make some moves in free agency, which they have. But the Knicks fans need not go out and make plans for a championship parade down Broadway's Canyon of Heroes next June. The Knicks' idea of making a splash in free agency was to sign guard Jalen Brunson to a 4 year deal for $104 million. Brunson spent the first 4 years of his NBA career with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Brunson is coming off of a career year as he averaged more than 16 points and close to 5 assists per contest as he helped the Mavericks reach the Western Conference Finals. Now, in my opinion, the Knicks just overpaid for a player that has question marks attached to him, especially from the standpoint that you have to wonder if the productivity that we saw from Brunson this past season will continue to improve, or was it simply a flash in the pan? I say that because you have to ask yourself, did Brunson benefit from playing alongside Luka Doncic? And of course, Doncic is one of the up and coming stars in the NBA, and of course, due to his ability on the court, it's going to give the players around him better opportunities to score, which Brunson fell into that category. Was Brunson another player who waited for his walk year in order to go out there and strike it big? He went from averaging about 12 and a half points last season to upping it to more than 16 points this past season for the Dallas Mavericks. And these are things that you have to wonder about. And for me, you just put this under the category of the Knicks continuing to do Knick type things. We saw the Knicks recently make a bevy of moves to try to free up the cap space and have the cap flexibility to go out there and sign Brunson, which they did. But at the end of the day, I think the Knicks really, really overpaid for Jalen Brunson, and he's not the only person on this Knicks team that's like that. Because last year the Knicks overpaid for Julius Randle. Julius Randle, like I said before, and I'll continue to say, he's never going to have another season like we saw a couple of years ago when he really put it all together. We saw his productivity take a step back this past season, and I think going forward, the guy that the Knicks have to find a way to build around is RJ Barrett. He's the guy that's going to have to get paid. He's the guy that you need to try to build a team around, not Julius Randle and not Jalen Brunson for that matter either. I know that the Knicks are very comfortable with Brunson, being that the fact that his dad is an assistant coach for the Knicks. His dad was also a player for the Knicks once upon a time. He was a part of a Knicks team in 1999 when they became the first and only 8 seed in playoff history to reach the NBA Finals. But with that said, comfort selections sometimes are not always the best ones, and I think the Knicks are going to find that out the hard way. The Knicks are spending money, but once again, they're spending it wrong. And I mean, we've seen in the past where Knicks fans have got their hopes up because the Knicks cleared out cap space to go out there and make a run for players. And usually the Knicks come back with egg on their face. A couple of years ago, the Knicks wanted to go out there and make a splash to get the likes of Kyrie and Kevin Durant in free agency. Got neither. They went to the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, that scenario has not worked out for the Brooklyn Nets either. But nonetheless, if you're the New York Knicks, you simply try to go out there and make moves, but the moves that you typically make are wrong. This is going to fall into the lap of Leon Rose. He made this move happen. He overpaid for this player, and I think that people have to realize right away. Everybody involved, this was a huge reach. You're paying Jalen Brunson star money, but the problem is Jalen Brunson is not a star. He is a solid player based on the people that he is playing with. And being that the Knicks don't have somebody that comes close to the scoring ability of one Luka Doncic, the Knicks are going to find out very quickly that they overpaid for the services of Mr. Brunson. Now, of course, if you're the Knicks, you ask yourself, will this move help you be a playoff team next season? The Knicks obviously weren't good enough to even make the NBA's play-in tournament this past season. So first and foremost, you have to find a way to be in that mix. The Knicks are still not a top six team in the Eastern Conference. You think about, you still have the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics. You have to like the system of the Toronto Raptors. The Atlanta Hawks are making moves. The Chicago Bulls are hopeful to be healthy next season. So right off the bat, that's seven teams that I mentioned right there. So the Knicks are not better than those teams. They're not good enough to be a top six team, but hopefully for their sake, this can put them in that play-in tournament aspect, and hopefully they can find a way to build off of that. 2 years ago, or a year ago rather, the Knicks really overachieved. Nobody expected a lot out of that team. They overachieved heading into last season. They did not improve their roster while the Eastern Conference around them got better. And the proof was in the pudding as the Knicks once again missed the postseason. So let's see how things turn around this time for Tom Thibodeau. But the bottom line is, if you're Jalen Brunson, you got paid big time money and you're going to have to deliver in the biggest media market in the world. Fans and media alike don't want to hear it. So that 16 points per game that you had this past season for Dallas is going to have to come closer to 20. But I'll tell you like this, I don't see it happening. This was a huge reach for the Knicks. The Knicks tried to make a splash, and in their eyes, they did so. But this is something that they're really going to regret quicker than people expect. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.